You felt it before, the rush in your body when her eyes meet yours. Your heart races, your chest burns. And suddenly it feels like this woman is your destiny, almost like the universe brought her to you on purpose. But here's the truth. That feeling isn't destiny. It's a trick, a mirage. What you call love might actually be the oldest trap in human history, because most of what you feel doesn't come from her at all. It comes from you, from your biology, your mind, and the hidden shadows of human history still alive inside you. There is no grand scheme, no script scribbled in secret to ensnare you. The reality is subtler, more primal. It plays out in pauses, in the curvature of a smile, in silences so heavy they bend your nervous system toward surrender. It's not conspiracy. It's instinct, coded into her gestures, triggered by your projections. And the cruelest part is that you rarely notice. You walk willingly into the net, mistaking it for divine connection. Jung warned us that the unconscious, left unseen, will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. That is what happens when men give themselves over to desire. They name it destiny, but in truth, it is their own blindness pulling the strings. Look around you. How many men have vanished into this labyrinth? Men who poured out their youth, their energy, their wealth into women who never loved them, never even saw them as anything more than stepping stones. Yet those same men defend the illusion. She's special, they say. She's different. Number, she is not different. She simply knows how to stir the storm already inside you. And until you see clearly, until you bring these shadows into the light, you too remain prey. These snares are not new. They are as old as civilization itself, sharpened by culture, reinforced by myth, and buried in your unconscious. To name them is the first act of liberation. To expose them is to reclaim yourself. But be warned, most men do not want this truth. They cling to fantasy, to the comfort of the dream. If you are here, listening, then you are already different. And once you see what is about to be revealed, you will never see women, or yourself, the same way again. It begins with silence, the glance that lingers too long, the smile that evaporates like mist, the space she leaves between words, charged with electricity. That emptiness is not absence, it is weaponized mystery. Jung taught us that we do not see people as they are, but as projections of our own hidden desires. When you look at her, you are not seeing her soul. You are seeing the reflection of your own hunger, your longing for the feminine you never integrated within yourself. And she, whether consciously or not, allows you to drape her in that fantasy. She becomes the blank canvas upon which you paint salvation. You crown her before she has even spoken. This is why she feels like a goddess. It is not her divinity, but your projection. Mystery enslaves because your mind is wired to complete the puzzle. The unanswered question releases chemicals in your brain like a gambler pulling the lever of a slot machine. You think about her endlessly, but you are not thinking of her. You are thinking of the dream your unconscious has conjured. This is why myths and films across cultures exalt the mysterious woman. From Helen of Troy to the noir temptress, the pattern repeats because men are addicted to filling in the blanks. Mystery is not harmless. It is the oldest snare. The antidote is brutal clarity, seeing her as she is, not as the goddess your unconscious paints. Most men never achieve this. They remain kneeling before illusions. But you are seeing through it. If mystery manipulates the mind, beauty seizes the body. It is no exaggeration to say kingdoms have crumbled under its spell. Schopenhauer once remarked that beauty is the promise of happiness. He was right, and yet profoundly wrong. Beauty does not promise happiness, it promises hope, and hope is a chain. When she enters the room, your chest constricts, your thoughts scatter. This is not poetry, it is evolutionary wiring. Your ancestors who overlooked beauty vanished from the gene pool. Those who pursued it reproduced. You inherit their hunger. But beauty alone is not power. Power emerges when beauty is wielded deliberately. The dress chosen with precision, the pause before her gaze meets yours, the artful tilt of her head. These are not random. They are signals. They activate the circuitry of your biology before you have the chance to resist. The cruel trap is not only in the beauty itself, but in the way it is rationed. A smile, a laugh, a brush of the hand, then withdrawal. You are given a taste and then starved. Your body aches with the absence. Like any addict, you crawl back for another fix. Freud warned that buried emotions return in uglier forms. Here, the emotion is desire, weaponized into a cycle of reward and denial. She does not need to demand your devotion. Your own brain does the work. She simply sets the rhythm. Whether conscious or instinctive, the effect is the same. Your focus shrinks, your purpose fades, your life orbit narrows to her gravitational field. This is how men abandon their paths. This is how empires collapse. Yet beauty and mystery are only the beginning. If those are the bait, the third snare is the blade. It comes not in tenderness, but in tests. Every man has felt it. The joke that cuts too deep, the subtle mention of another man, the glance that challenges your confidence. These are not random quirks, they are probes. She seeks your cracks. She wants to know if you bend, if you crumble, if your worth depends on her approval, and most men, tragically, fail. They puff their chest, sulk, explain themselves desperately, or chase validation like beggars. In doing so, they reveal their insecurity, and with it, they lose respect. The paradox is merciless. Women test for strength, but the moment you crumble under the test, you reveal weakness. And once revealed, it cannot be unseen. Machiavelli would have understood this game, for it is the politics of desire. To rule, one must test. To be ruled, one must fail. Women will never stop testing because it is their nature to search for the edges of a man's frame. The only way to withstand is to refuse the game. To root your value not in her gaze, not in her approval, but in yourself, your mission, your inner fortress. Until you do, you will remain a subject in her kingdom of tests. The fourth snare burrows deeper still. It is the illusion of intimacy. The late-night confession, the trembling story of betrayal, the soft disclosure of wounds that makes you feel chosen, trusted, irreplaceable. And you step into the role of savior. You believe that her vulnerability is proof of your significance, but often this is not intimacy. It is entanglement. Jung cautioned that intimacy awakens projection more than truth. You do not see her, you see yourself in her story, your own wounds mirrored in hers. The illusion of being the only one who understands binds you to her, not in reality, but in narrative. And once entangled, you cannot leave without betraying not her, but the identity you've built, the rescuer, the healer, the redeemer. This is why men give everything, years, money, soul, to fix the broken woman, only to be discarded when the script no longer serves her. The intimacy was never real. It was bait. The fifth and final trick is the most devastating. It is the illusion of salvation, the whisper that she is the missing piece, the promise that through her you will finally be whole. This is the cruelest lie, for it strikes at man's deepest wound, the hunger for meaning. From myths of knights redeemed by princesses to modern love songs, men are conditioned to believe completion lies in her arms. But when she leaves, when the goddess shows her flaws, when forever disintegrates, men collapse into ruin because they had mistaken her for salvation. This is the snare that shatters kings, that leaves warriors in despair, that convinces the strong to drink themselves into oblivion. The truth, however brutal, is that no woman can save you. Salvation does not come from her. It comes only from yourself. To need salvation from her is to remain a slave. To stand complete without her is to transcend. Now you see them all, the 5 snares: mystery, beauty, testing, intimacy, salvation. 5 ancient patterns, 5 illusions that have consumed men across centuries, and beneath them lies one devastating truth. You do not fall for her. You fall for your own reflection in her. You kneel not before the woman, but before the goddess your unconscious created. And in that worship, you lose yourself. Nietzsche warned that a man who ties his why to another person will crumble the moment she departs. Your foundation cannot be her, for she is human, fleeting, fallible. It must be you. Only then will you be untouchable. Most men will never see this. They will continue to kneel before masks. But you have glimpsed behind the veil. You know now that every illusion only works when you are asleep. To awaken is brutal, but it is the only freedom. When you confront your shadow, when you reclaim the anima within, when you integrate your projections, you are no longer chained. You see her as she is, human, not divine. And in that clarity, the snares dissolve. The man who needs nothing cannot be broken. The man who saves himself cannot be enslaved. And perhaps that man is you. And so the truth stands bare. She was never the answer, never the missing piece, never the salvation you longed for. She was the mirror, reflecting the hunger you refused to face within yourself. The chains were never hers to forge. They were born from your own blindness, your own refusal to see clearly. Freedom begins the moment you stop searching for wholeness in another and claim it from within.